Hello and welcome to my first ever content created exclusively for YouTube. No streams attached. In this video, I will show you some highlights and Tesuji from a game I played at the end of last year against an opponent that was quite aggressive, even for Fox standards. If you want to see the full game, a link is in the description below. Alrighty then, let's go! So, as you can see, the game so far has been pretty standard, both took an enclosure, and we started with common Joseki in the bottom right, which usually would continue with black extending and then black takes this right side and white takes this bottom side. But in the game, this is where the piece ends and my opponent asked for more, which leaves more weaknesses behind. So black kept pushing, and black now has a lot more weaknesses. So naturally, my opponent didn't fix any of them. And after an exchange in the corner, this is already the first Tesuji position. So what would you play as white? The Tesuji in this shape is, after an exchange here, to attach here. And the meaning of this is to make use of the liberty shortage of this and of this simultaneously. So if black now just says, no, I don't want to weaken my outside at all, then yes, you can get all this as black, but white can get pretty easy shape on the outside, and you see these stones of black which are just stranded in the center. White stones on the side are actually much stronger now. So that's not really a great result for black. And so if black decides to now push through here, then that's a little bit better for black, because black takes a bit more on the right and loses a little bit less painfully in the center, but these two stones are still useless and stranded, and white is all connected and strong. So that's also another choice. That's just good for white. And if black now decides to save these, black doesn't really gain much, because you still can get all of these moves for white as in center, and then just simply make a base on the right side, and it's a similar situation that black is just stranded in the center and white makes an easy shape. In the game, however, I just extended here, and you can still play the same Tesuji after this exchange, but now the problem is that you made this bad exchange, you have the empty triangle, and it's really, you'd rather not have this. So yeah, that's already a bad exchange. The game continued with black just being purely aggressive, not even caring for his own shape, and even here, making this empty triangle just to make sure my group has as few liberties as possible. And in this position, the Tesuji is still the same for white, only a little bit of a different meaning now. White can't really play here immediately because of this cut, but white can make use of this forcing move again, and then just push here to make sure that black can't press down white too easily. Like it happened in the game, where I just made this jump and got pressed down here. And this is now a slightly different situation, where white again has a Tesuji, but not quite the same one. What do you think? The Tesuji to play here is now the diagonal, because the diagonal threatens to capture these stones. Like if black ignores, you just capture. So black has to play this, and because of extra forcing moves like this white group is actually alive, and white can just fight in the center or do whatever, maybe extend on the bottom side. In the game, however, I just attached here and I got pretty much the same thing, but in Gote. And black even still got to play this descent here in center, so I really didn't gain much. So now I felt really bad about the game, and rightfully so. Now the game is good for black, and black can just extend on the top, fix their weakness. Just kidding, it's a Fox game. Of course black attacked. So in this position, I probably should have just sacrifice the 4 stones, because they don't really matter anymore. They are not attached to this weak group, they are only attached to this very strong black corner. But I wasn't feeling good about this game, so I thought. And a fight I got. Because black didn't back down either, so we arrived at this position where now black has this middle group, which can still be weak. I have this group which is not fully settled, black has this group, and I have this corner group. And lots of mistakes were made, but the end of this fight was that I sacrificed these cornerstones here and got a very strong, thick outside for that end center. So here it's white plus 10 about, and black decided black can't fight with these stones in the center right now, they are just going to suffer. So black tried to sacrifice them and build the top side. So I invaded, which was probably not necessary, or at least not in this way. And black decided this weakness is too much, and I got to attach here, and the next fight erupted from this. So I have a weak group, which naturally means black tried to attack it as hard as possible. And we arrived at this position, where now this is the next Tesuji for white. To make sure that white is fully alive with no issues with this group. And the Tesuji for this is to Atari here. The meaning is that it protects this cut and threatens to connect here, which means that if black now protects against this connection, white just captures these, since black can't really cut here. And if black just connects here, nope. If black just connects here, then I can just connect here. And yes, technically white is not completely alive yet, but I mean black can't really fight here, so essentially it is this group. But in the game I was happy to just Atari from here, which is fine, but the problem is that now black gets to connect here and connect here, so my group is still running, which means of course that black attacked this as ferociously as possible. And I made a few mistakes, so I arrived at this position where I was in dire need of a Tesuji to make sure that my group can survive. Which I didn't find, but can you find it? The Tesuji for white to play is not to save this one, it's to Atari here. Now if black just connects, while you can't win the capturing race, you do gain p18 in center, which makes pretty easy life in the corner. Instead, if black takes, well, if you Atari and connect, you just simply have more. You can't really capture those, because black has this Tesuji, but you again get p18 and even p19 in center, so this is clearly alive. Instead, black will try to play here, and technically this is a ko, but practically white has so many local core threads, so many cuts on the outside, even threads on the bottom left are so big because this black group would not even be alive if this were to die and this live. So this is pretty much an unlosable core for white. So instead black decides to Atari and connect, and now white in the corner can live thanks to this being in Lord Liberty shortage, because if black tries to make this a fake eye like this, while you just Atari and these stones are dead. And very similar if black now goes inside and tries this, because you just Atari and black is dead with these stones. So in this position you are fully alive in the corner. However, in the game, I just played the extension at L18, so I didn't gain as many liberties from this. And well, this is now a life and death for black. I won't show the solution, but if you want to tell me what you get, you can tell me in the comments, and I will tell you if you're right. But my opponent was not right, so you can already rule out R19, and I just simply lived in the corner. Now it's good for me again. So after a few more fights, while black trying something in the top left, we arrive at this position. And now, next position with a Tesuji, white to play and just straight up win the game. I thought about it, but I wasn't sure about it, so I thought it might lose me liberties if I do it. So I didn't dare. The Tesuji in this position is H80. If black now plays here, well, you just win the capturing race against these stones. Because black can't even take a liberty here, you just Atari, throw in Atari, Atari, and capture these. which will probably show you very clearly how it works if black wedges here. Because now if black just simply connects, you throw in and Atari again. And if black counter Ataris, it's not even a core, because you can again throw in, and it's a connect and die. The only thing that black can try is to play here, and then it is a core technically, but also, well, white has so many core threats again, and this is such a huge core. It's very hard to win this for black. In the game I just, after an exchange on the bottom left, connected here and tried something in the center, which got me into some trouble and almost lost me the game. But black was very kind to make a very bad exchange a few moves prior to this position. And this time I didn't miss the Tesuji, so white to play and just completely crush black's soul. The white move here is to just play here. And this is, thanks to an exchange that black made here, not connectable for black because black has way too few liberties. So black has to cut, and it's a core. And to add insult to injury, it's a core where white already can gain something here in center. Black can still not connect, and black already gained 3 stones plus reduced territory here. And additionally, this is just a flower core for white, and it ended up with me just winning these stones in the top right and being ahead by like 40 points. And shortly after this, actually 2 moves later, my opponent resigned. Thank you for watching. Let me know how you like this and if you want to see more. Also feel free to give me any advice on what to improve. Last but not least, a shout out to Turbo Quetscher who gave me the idea for this video in the first place. Alright, that's it for now, but stay tuned for a lot more very soon. Have a great one, bye bye.